I am the designer of the following game. Expect bias. Kia ora koutou and welcome to this very special 3-minute board games video. Unboxing videos are not normally my thing, but I do make an exception when I've actually designed the game myself. And this is Moon Syndicates. This is my second game design after Red Dust Rebellion. And it's finally, as of this video, shipping out to our backers right now. And hopefully there's going to be some copies available for retail sale as well. And if those people who pick it up love it, like it, and rate it really highly, hopefully we can do a second printing. That would be fantastic. I've not actually seen inside any of the boxes or any of the additional content yet. I had an early prototype copy, but that wasn't the finished thing. So this is legitimately the first time opening one of my designer copies. So if you don't know, when you sign a contract, normally to design a game, they agree to send you a certain number of copies of the game. This is one of my copies of the game I got from my contract. I'm just going to open her up at the back. This is the core box. We've got like 5 separate packages to open, which is pretty cool. Red Dust Rebellion, we only had the one box. So I'll just surgically remove that plastic. And we'll just chuck stuff over here. One thing, I love this cover. I think it's one of the most eye-catching covers of a board game ever. You know, you might like it, you might not like it, but it certainly grabs your attention and stands out on a shelf, and that's kind of what you want. It kind of makes me think of Pulp Fiction in space, and that's a cool vibe. It's a vibe that I don't think I've seen in many other products. So, love the work that the Arkus team did on the characters and stuff here. So, first thing we open up, we have the appendix is interestingly sitting on top. So the appendix is kind of like a lore book. It goes through all of the factions that are in the game, and there's 10 in the core set, and exactly what each card does. So this is like a reference book and a little art book. That's really neat. So one thing to note about Moon Syndicates as a game is there are 10 syndicates in the core box, but you only play with a number, about 3 plus number of players. So in a 4-player game, you play with like 7 syndicates. So for example, Biofed, who are these sort of evil bioengineering monsters, allow you to bring cards back from the discard pile, which most other factions normally can't do. So yeah, each of these factions has their own little cool strength and weakness. And the different ones you add to the game change the complexion of the game, because everyone is drawing from the same central pool of characters. So yeah, we have this little world building book here for the appendix. Then we have the basic rules, and it's smaller than the box. It's a nice, straightforward 36-page rulebook. 36, yeah. But it has a whole bunch of examples and stuff. It's really well illustrated and laid out. Huge font, lots of play examples, and little FAQ bits and pieces all over the show, which, you know, something I was really keen on, and Arkus were really keen on, was making the rulebook super legible and have a whole bunch of play examples. So yeah, the minimum number of FAQs needed. Now, when this game does get into people's hands, I'll be on the Board Game Geek forums to do any FAQ answers, like I did with Red Dust Rebellion. I keep an eye on the games I design, and if there are rules questions, I like to pop up and look at them. Then we have the token sheets.
12 seconds later.
And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and these have a mixture of the credit markers and, of course, the objective markers on them. And then there are these ones here, which are double-sided, the ones that punch out, and those represent status tokens. There's a few other bits and pieces here. Then we get into the board itself. There's a few little Easter eggs on this board, so especially on the back. So here we go. Oh, they put it there. Fantastic. So this board represents like a tracking system for the Shadow Moon. So when the pieces are placed on there, they're like little blips and alerts and stuff popping up on the display. And this is actually a piece of technology. And it has, it's probably really hard to see back here. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see this. But it has a J3M operating system down here, which is pretty cool. Also of note, there's like a a couple of pictures that represent the different artists. There's a little scrappy thing of Shem Phillips down here because he was involved. And a little purple butterfly here to represent my daughter. So on the back of every board game, there's a little purple butterfly, and that represents and my daughter. Purple butterflies are kind of her thing. So as they wanted to know if I wanted something special put there for myself, like a name or anything like that, or a logo or whatever, and I just wanted something for her. So it's really neat to see that there, and also this wacky double-sided technology board. All right, and we go to the bag. So it comes with a nice bag, and that's where you put these tokens so they get all nicely shuffled up. You'll be needing that. Lots of plastic baggies. And then we have the stackable pieces. So we've got 5 different colors, and we went for really vibrant colors. So we have pink, bright sort of teal, fluoro green, fluoro purple, and orange. And those show up really clearly on the board. But one of the cool things with these is they are designed to stack up. So when you're putting them on the board, you can easily see how big a stack you've got of them, because that's really important in the game. It's making these tokens nice and stackable, and that sticks really, really well too. So once they're in place, you know, you have to sort of lift them apart. So you're not going to knock over particularly easily. See? Then he goes and drops them. But as a general rule, you have to be really violently shaking the table for them to fall over. So yeah, these are cool. But this is exactly what I wanted. Because of the whole gambling, crime vibe, I wanted something that felt like poker chips but wasn't necessarily poker chips. And what Arkus came up with was these, and they're an absolutely brilliant solution. Here we have player guides, little reference things. This is a summary of the rules. It's a 3-page sort of three-fold out. And on the inside are all the keywords used in the game. So because it's a card-driven game, there are a lot of keywords. The keywords are things like push, pull, burn, displace. Each of them is defined on this card. So when you first start playing, hold this, hug this, use this a lot. You'll be referencing all the different keywords in the game using this. But we put enough in the box, so there's one for every player. Once you've played the game like a handful of times, most of the keywords will be ingrained to you. You'll probably forget some of the more unusual ones like usurp or strengthen. But for the most part, those keywords will get burned into your brain as you play. We also have some stuff for the 2-player game, so you can have a bit of a bot player going between you. Now, there isn't a solo mode for this game just because of how interactive it is. 2 players was about as good as we could get. Then we've got the cards. So we've got 3 big stacks of cards.
Eventually.
And these are all split into their respective syndicates. So here we have the first syndicate, Feral, and they're all red cards. They tend to be violent street gangers, and they like blowing stuff up. And they have a very, very distinctive sort of art style that represents that vibe. So that's Feral. That's one of the 10 syndicates in the box. And we also have, right here, we'll go with the robots who I always forget their name, MFB. That's right, MFB. And these are bounty hunting robots. And they've got a very distinct style as well. So all of the syndicates should have both a mechanical through note as well as a stylistic through note that makes them very distinct and interesting. Now I'm going to put out a video at some point which just runs through each of the factions in the game, each of the syndicates, and their central mechanic is and what their vibe is. So there'll be a lot more of that later, but needless to say, tons of beautiful card art done by the Arkus crew. And yeah, that's what's in these 2 packs as well. So that's the main box. We'll move on to the expansion Illicit Company. Now, this is a small box card expansion. The thing with this is when I made Shadow Moon Syndicates, when I came up with the original idea for it, I had so many factions. I had a number of factions that the publisher was like, that is too many factions. We are not going to put anywhere near that many cards in this game. Because I wanted 160 plus cards. And they were like, we're not doing that. So I was forced to select the 10 simplest ones to go into the core game. Then, very late in the design piece, they decided, actually, can we do the other 6 as well? Because we might release them as an expansion. And that's what Illicit Company is. These were all, I wouldn't say finalized early in the game, but the ideas for all of these factions did exist very early on in the piece. So they will fit in seamlessly with the core game. So we'll just chuck that one over there. And that, again, comes with its own appendix, which deals with the 6 factions in here. So there are 15 districts on the board, and the 16 syndicates each represent one of the 15 districts and a syndicate that is homeless. So that's why there's 16. So yeah, in here, more plastic bags, a glossary for the extra keywords that are added by the expansion, and then there is a small token sheet that represents another status token that's introduced in this game. And then these cards, which I definitely have not seen, because the prototype copy they gave me only had the core game, so I have not actually had a good look at any of the expansion cards up close and in person, which is pretty cool. And oh yeah. And I'm just gonna quickly just glance through these. Oh, here's Messier's Reach there. Oh, they're so cool. Black Sun. Offworld. I look at Offworld. These guys are neat. So Offworld Holdings is a syndicate of Offworld business types. And one of the quirky things with the syndicate is they're not actually present on the planet. They're not allowed to be on the Shadow Moon. So they have to get robot bodies in order to do business there. And these robot bodies are rented to them by agencies that don't particularly like them very much. So they end up with really, really, really stupid looking robots that they have to do business through. There's a whole bunch of wacky quirks like that in here. And each of these 6 syndicates has their own special rules and special story as well. And you can add them to the core game. So what you end up doing there is you've got the 10 in the core game, 6 in here. You're normally playing with 7. That gives you a ton of variety of how you want to shape the game. Whether you want the game to be more aggressive, more dynamic, you can play with a lot of status tokens available, or you can play with no status tokens. It really is up to you to determine how much you're going to shake the game up. Or, because we have these cool little randomizer cards here, so these cards both give a summary of the faction and what it does, and also act as a randomizer. So you can decide, okay, what 7 are we playing with? Shuffle, 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 and deal them out. If I haven't made it clear, you're not actually one of the syndicates yourself. You're using their people to advance your own agenda. So you're a separate criminal boss who is using the different syndicates to further their own goals. So you're kind of recruiting members of syndicates into your own private gang. Alright, let's move on to the next stuff. The first of which is the... where's my knife gone? Here it is. Is the High Roller Upgrade Kit. I've had an inkling of what's in this one, but not my own to look at. So this is the sort of upgrade tokens. So punch that open. And dump all that out on the board. Oh! Alright, so we've got to upgrade a first player marker, I assume, which is Bob. And then big credits, which are made out of Perspex. So the game has a lot of cardboard money, and this is sort of Perspex money in its place. Actually feels really cool. Oh, that's super chunky. Like, these are way bigger than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be like tiny little things, but they're actually like, yeah, that's the size of the credits, as big as my thumb. Also here we've got the objectives to go into the bag, as well as the status tokens, and this includes the expansion status tokens as well. So instead of a bit of cardboard, they're actually quite chunky as well. So yeah, there's that one there, which is double-sided, and that one there that's also double-sided. Oh no, they're not double-sided. These ones are singles. Oh! Okay. Okay, so there's... Right, there's one for each type. So whereas the cardboard ones... Yeah, here we go. So a cardboard one for the expansion here. So that's that bit there. And then you'd flip that one over. But here you'd have to... You've got this one. So you've actually got individual ones. Okay, that's really interesting. Was not aware of that. So yeah, this is the High Roller Pack. I think this is going to be a bit of a limited thing. I'm not sure if this will hang around too long. It's sort of like a Kickstarter bonus. Doesn't add anything to the gameplay. It just makes the game look kind of fancier. I'm really quite stoked with those. So, yeah, that's really cool. That's the... Oh, what do we got here? Here's the 1K credit ones. Oh yeah, they're chunky. These are chunky. Very cool. Alright, that brings us to, I think, the dashboards. And these are, I'm absolutely positive, a Kickstarter exclusive. Again, I'm not sure what's exclusive, what's not. I don't really pay that much attention to that part of the process. Arkus Games will handle any questions you've got on that kind of stuff, because they're the publisher. I am merely the humble designer looking at his designer copies. Okay. So normally the game doesn't come with these, and you don't really need them to play, but they are sort of, well, they're storage boards, so you can put the cards you're saving on here, as well as, open up some of these. So your good old operations tokens on here. That's where they go. So it's just a nice little place to store your stuff. You don't actually need this to play the game at all, but they had just a little nice addition. So I'm quite happy to have those. Oh, they've turned out really nice too. One of the cool things is these sort of slot in, like it's the card backs blend into the thing really well. When you put the discard pile by the board, it also connects up with a little socket thing there. It's really tastefully done. Okay, that's the dashboards. They're very cool. And lastly, oh, so much stuff. We have the Gallery Heist Bundle. Which again, I believe this is art prints and a few other bits and bobs. So these up the top. Let's open that up. Like a kid in a candy store. Alright. Hop. Those. Oh, yeah, they're attached there. Oh, I don't want to break anything. How does this work? Okay. They're sort of stuck on there. Alright. Just do a little bit of... Alright, we'll get these off first. Ooh. Those are the pin backs. Okay. So we have 2 pins. Steph will love these because she'll put them on her bag. She loves herself some pins. Here we go. So we've got Moon Syndicates pins. Have a good look at those. And they got the little clippy things on the back so you can put them on things. Walk around like that. That's pretty cool. And then here, we've got these. They're stuck on here, so I'm just wondering if there's a way to get these off without bending stuff.
1 hour later.
These are art prints. I'm going to hold each one of those up for a little bit. So I'm probably going to decorate the trusty game shed with these. I have some of my own art up on the wall. I started oil painting about this time last year. I'm not very good. But I am prolific, so I have a ton of my own oil paints up on the walls in the shed now. But I'll find a space for these as well because it's so cool. There's something so amazing about being part of a process that ends up delivering such beautiful bits of art and stuff to the world. Like, it's cool designing a game, but it's possibly cooler seeing what other people take with your ideas and the creative stuff they do with them. And oh, there's like sticker packs as well. This is fantastic. So we've got these big sticker packs, and we just got a new shed in here. Sorry, a new fridge in the shed. So it is in desperate need of decoration. So those are going to go up on there. I'm going to decorate the hell out of that. If you haven't unaware, Bob, this little chap here, he's sort of like the mascot of Shadow Moon Syndicates. He's on all the stuff. He's like the self-help computer. He's the AI that helps run the Shadow Moon, and he's sort of like a quirky character that's through everything. And all of the different types of crime that you do in the game are represented by little icons of Bob doing different things. So you can tell the one that's drug dealing is the one with him with the crazy eyes. The one with him beating people up, extorting people for money. They're all little quirky characters, and yeah. So Bob's a wonderful little character in the setting, and yeah, there we have it. This is intense. Like unboxing something that you've been involved with, that you've helped create, is a really cool experience, and I really like this game. I mean, I liked Red Dust Rebellion, and I think it's a great game. I think this is a better game. This is the game I definitely play Shadow Moon Syndicates a lot more, and I've introduced it to a lot more people because it's just that much easier to teach. It is what I consider a forever game. I've designed it in such a way that you should be able to play through a round of the game in 45 minutes to an hour or so, once you're good at it, and then afterwards immediately go and want to play again. You should be either wanting to prove you can do it again, or angry that you lost out and want to go again. It is a game that suits groups that like to play the same game over and over again, because I've built in so much sort of replay into the game, and variety, and just different approaches. And I had a lot of help doing that as well. So the team from Arkus, Shem, Paul and Nikki, have been really good getting this across the line. They assembled one of the best art teams you can imagine, who've delivered some top-notch quality art for the game, and just the whole package is a fantastic product. Like, it's a great game, and they've made it look better than I'd hoped when we first talked. And I also had a really good developer on the game as well. So if you don't know, a designer sort of comes up with the ideas for a game, and they tend to work with a developer who's someone who does a lot of the playtesting and bounces ideas back and forth. And that person on Shadow Moon Syndicates was Sam McDonald, who's quite well known for being a co-designer on the West Kingdom and South Tigris games, as well as a designer in his own right in games like Circadian's Chaos Order and Circadian's First Dawn. You might also know that a lot of his games are in my top 100, so when the offer of Sam as a developer came along, I absolutely took it on board, and it's really hard to overstate how useful his input was. And in the end, we decided to give him, as thanks for how much work he put in, a co-designing credit on the expansion, because he really did provide a whole bunch of great input onto that expansion and how that expansion works and the factions therein. So yeah, really cool collaborative effort. But at the end of the day, this started off as a Vampire the Masquerade themed game I was making in my shed, and yeah, then Sam came around and played it. Thought it sounded really neat. Told the folks at Arkus, hey, Jarrod's got a game that's, pretty rough, but with a bit of polish it could be quite good. And the rest, as you say, is history. And that whole process started before the pandemic. And so the first conversations about this game were like 2018 or 2019. So it took a long road to get here, but now it's here. I'm really, really stoked with it. And I can only hope that the people watching this game, watching this video, and who end up playing this game have half as much fun with it as I have, because I think this is really neat, and I hope that you think it's really neat too. So yeah, sorry for rambling there, and forgive me for indulging myself in what is essentially a giant masturbatory video about me, my game, and how cool it is. But I'm really proud of it. So yeah, stay tuned for some more stuff on Shadow Moon Syndicates, and normal service will resume after this video. Take care all.